Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. I've been told that we have to be somewhat strict with time because, so we've got 30 minutes, so I'm going to see if we can't get as many questions answered as possible. And maybe if we could just go down the line here. I'll start with you, Klaus. What do you think will be the most important technology trend in the years to come? I mean, I know that's a big idea, but we're going to start with the big idea and then go from there.
I mean, in the context here, because we are on a China forum from a context point of view, I definitely see that the digitalization of all factors of life basically is the big trend, right? I think chairman of Xiaomi just mentioned it, right? I mean, This is the consumer side, but as well on the industrial side, this is the big thing that will happen. This will transform much more than we can currently even imagine, right? And any product can be individualized. Anything you do will make sense to somebody else. And we all have to get used to a new way of living in the end and a new way of producing products. So I see this definitely as the big trend. It's not a specific technology. As I mentioned in my brief speech, it's of course based on availability of broadband, of cloud, of big data, in-memory technologies. All those will be supporting technologies to make this big trend happening. Okay, that's a good one. What do you think?
Okay, from our point of view that we have a similar idea. That's why 1.5 years ago, my company, which is electronic devices conglomerate in China, we have decided to transform our business. We used to a traditional manufacturer. We are making TV, cell phone, refrigerators, and air conditioners. Everything you can imagine in your home and in the office. But we used to only sell products. So what we decided to do is, first, we're going to make all our products is internet connected, so that we can work with application and service, because those products smart. Then we're not going to just sell products. We'll sell products plus service. That's what we call the double plus strategy. And that's in the exactly the way that in the future, we cannot only sell products, hardware. We need to sell products plus service applications. So that's the big trend. I think
okay.
We see the future.
Mr. Haas, what do you say?
Yeah, we from Huawei, we came traditionally from the communication technology, and now we are in the IT and see the big convergence between ICT. Yeah. And this is, I think this is the foundation of all the things. I think the mega trends are mentioned several times today. So everything will be connected. Yeah? And the internet is the foundation. And all the things, what we are calling Internet of Things, on all the communication, humans with things and machines with machines, and all these things. And there's a tremendous numbers of connections we expect for the next decade. So more than 90% of them will be connection between machines, between things. So this is really, it will change our life. This will change our business. And these are some of the mega trends here.
Okay. Mr. Li.
我认为啊，在未来的这个技术发展方向上面，这个信息安全，我认为是一个非常重要的环节。因为刚才我们看到这个小米的雷军谈到，也许当我们每一个家里面布满了这个小米的摄像头的时候，那么这个信息安全将会给我们带来巨大的挑战，而且在未来的我们的软件定义和工业4.0的发展过程里面，信息安全一定是我们所有人都要关注的一个要点。谢谢。Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry, I couldn't understand what you said, but I think I would like to share the statements the gentlemen have given now, the previous speakers. And so we heard all the buzzwords today, what is going to change the world. One of the mottos of This CeBIT here is the digitized economy, digitized world, smart world, connected cars, and all the trends we have heard about. And I think with the different setups of our companies and the different business models we have in our companies, so the challenge is quite different to everybody around the table here today. And I mentioned our activities in China, and I said when we started many years back, we had a kind of, we were really keen to go into a new market since it was a new country to us. And now we are going in kind of a new market since there are many, many things waiting for us which are not known today, but with a lot of transformation, changes, and challenges, and opportunities, of course.
Okay. Mr. Abu Hassan.
Try to keep it simple. You asked basically what do I think in terms of which technology does change the game.
Yeah.
I think it's the three things. Connectivity, it's cloud, which I see equivalent with data centralization, and it's the internet capability of things. These three things together make digitalization happen.
Okay, and those are all things that we've picked up, we've heard throughout the day as well. We've got this motto, software defines the world. We've heard that in some presentations today. How does it reflect in Industry 4.0? I mean, what would you say are the possible opportunities for Chinese enterprises in Industry 4.0? Who wants to take a stab at that? Mr. Li, you're nodding. What would you say?
我想工业4.0啊，我们曾经这次会议的主题啊是这个软件定义世界。那么我想软件在今天看也仅仅能够定义世界，但是改变不了世界。我想这个人类在这个发展的过程里面，这个历史当中啊，永远在这个一直在改变世界。我想当我们这个软件定义世界，再加上这个工业4.0之后，那么恐怕就是我们经常在中国谈到的这个工业化和信息化的相融合。那么在这个融合的过程里，我们中国的企业，我想，中国是一个制造业大国。那么在这个发展自身的这个转型的过程里面，中国的企业和德国的企业一些先进的技术的结合，能够提高中国企业的在整个制造领域的竞争力，这是第一。第二呢，中国又是个信息技术的大国，那么有非常强的这个软件和这个 IT 技术的这个研发的能力。我想我们可能按照我们昨天这个我们李克强总理讲的一句话，中德有互补，要加强这个合作。我想中国企业在这个领域可以和德国企业产生非常强的这种合作的关系，共同发展我们的未来。
Let me pick up on that about Germany and China being a good match. Who would like to add to that? Because I think there's something to be said. Mr. Haas, yes.
I think it's mentioned a lot today. I would like to share some personal experience.
Sure.
I'm here representing a Chinese company as a German, and I'm working for this company since more than 14 years. And in this, I could really what have been the key success factors here is combining the different talents. There's a flexibility that what Ferry Abul Hassan said, the pragmatic approach, doing things fast, time to market, all these things with the German traditional talents like do accurate planning, being process-oriented. Combining these talents together, I think this was one of the success factors from my point of view for Huawei being successful in Germany. And I think this is somehow a model for a bigger scale as well. Yeah? That these two countries, China and Germany, has a lot of capabilities to cooperate in this manner and bring their talents. Of course, Mrs. Merkel yesterday said we always will as well be competitors in the market. That's true. But on the other hand, these models, being competitor, being partner, this is the nature of business.
Yeah, it's the nature of business. Mr. Abu Hassan, you were nodding there in agreement.
Yes, yes. I'm happy that we are in a while in agreement. Otherwise, we would not have the partnership. No, seriously, just to stimulate a little bit the discussion, as Germany, we need to think, why out of a sudden are we open for these partnerships? Mm-hmm. And what happened? And we should also ask that question for the sake of other questions and other countries that we should be more cooperative with. It took quite a long time till we catched up the opportunities in the partnership with China, I think for too long. And you still feel here and there, hesitance, reluctance. And that's at the moment probably the swing I would like to get in. And a lot of politicians I talk today to, as well as journalists, I ask that question, why out of a sudden is now China en vogue? Why is out of a sudden that the partnership we should follow? And I do say though, and we do act so, but what other conclusions can we take out of that, and what other partnerships we might miss currently?
What do you think has changed then, Mr. Abu Hassan? Because for years, China was reported as being a major competitor to not only to Germany but to the West as a whole. And now we hear that partnerships are the future. So what has changed to go from competition completely to now being able to compete and cooperate at the same time?
Unfortunately, I would say it's the incredible success and growth that Chinese companies do have, and we just saw that impressively from 2011, 2014, what a growth or complement to that. But it should go deeper. Yeah? We should not wake up if somebody comes and do something quicker. We should start early up. And that needs a kind of an openness that we in Germany and Europe need to develop. And sometimes I would say it's based on personal initiatives rather than processes.
Personal initiative. In other words, it's about the people. What were you going to say?
I believe as well, it is to some extent or to a big extent always about people and what they really want to achieve. Yesterday, I think as well, Jack Ma said, it's not just the technology that changes the world, but the beliefs that make the world changing. But I wanted to add to what Ferry just said is we have as well a more realistic approach from both sides, right? So there's much less of emotions about blaming each other of doing something wrong. And we see as well that innovation, the moment innovation came up as a strong theme in China, there's as well a lot of protection of innovation, right? And that helps as well multinationals because we are protected in the same way. And I see this, and we see this as well, that if we have an issue with infringements of trademarks or whatsoever, this is followed up by the authorities and very, very quickly. Yeah? So that as well increases the trust level on both sides, and that again helps, of course, that partnerships are really possible because we feel as well that the legal framework has changed and is as well protecting us to a large extent.
Yeah, because that was reported a lot. I would say in the last 10 years, that was a substantial component of the information that was given about doing business in China is that that contracts, for example, the legal framework and companies abiding by contractual obligations, that there was a problem with that. Has that changed? Has that improved? Who wants to? I mean, obviously, has it improved? What would you say, Mr. Haas?
Yeah, so I cannot contribute too much
but what have you heard?
Situation from Germany to China, but here it is clear, I think what we can see is that more and more Chinese companies are getting really professional in internationalization, and so as Klaas has mentioned, in his statement, if we want really to manage the future, this digitalization, it is not only about competition, it's about building a global ecosystem with a huge bunch of partnerships. Of course, in these ecosystems, this is always as well competition. Yeah? But that's fair enough. So the best players will win at the end of the day. That is the game. And I think Germany is in a good position, and Chinese companies as well are getting more and more in good positions to becoming good players in this field. And I think what we discussed already, so joining these forces could really a big part of such an ecosystem, global ecosystem.
Yeah, I have two observations.
Yep.
The first is why, to answer this gentleman's question, why suddenly two countries find the partnership.
Yeah.
I think it's because two countries are vision in the same direction. In China, as many speakers talk about, the government is pushing for that direction, for digitize the economy. Really, from a regular company point of view, China really needed that. Because in the past few years, the labor cost has increased. And the regulation is getting very tough for manufacturing, because you have a safety, you have the environment, green, every kind of regulation. So all the sense are pushing for all the traditional industry go to the automation, go to digitalization. So that's China. I believe the same thing in Germany. Yesterday, when the chancellor talked about that the industry, version 4.0, that's the vision. So I say those two visions, they just come at the same time, and there is synergy there. Yeah. So that's one observation. The second thing is worry about what happened in China before about the contractual intellectual property, this kind of issues. I have to say, in the past few years, China has made a tremendous progress on this route. Because TCL is one of the company, we went out of China in early time. And we did two major acquisitions 11 years ago. One is we acquired Alcatel's mobile business. Another one is we acquired Thomson TV business.
Yeah.
And we have a big difficulty at the beginning because of the cultural difference, because we don't understand the rule and we don't understand the law in Europe. So we have a lot of trouble. But after a few years, then we made a tremendous progress. Now we say a perfect merge successful case. Like the Alcatel brand, we're using it worldwide, and it's generate more than 4 billion business now for us, and it's keeping growing. And meanwhile, we learned how to, cultivate the culture, how to we understand the law and the rule, so we're mature. And the TCL is not alone. We look at Lenovo, another successful stories with U.S. company. So with this whole new generation of Chinese company grow up, we're getting very matured. So the sense you worry about it before should be much less. So I think that's one point that paved the road for the cooperation in the future. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like, too, you're saying that there's this realization that the opportunities in China for German companies come not just from the growth that you're seeing in the Chinese economy, but also in the maturity of the Chinese economy itself, right?
Yeah.
So it's not so much as we're trying to take advantage of the growth opportunities, but we're almost like two peers now that are dealing with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mr. Liu, you were nodding your head. You agree with that?
我想是这样的。可能刚才这个问题啊，大家对中国的企业，包括中国的整个的市场环境，还有一些停留在过去若干年的一些传统的思维。其实，在前面的5年。 中国花了大量的时间在知识产权保护，在这个合同，在这些市场规则方面制定了大量的规则，而且在今天，我认为在中国这个方面的环境是前所未有的，比我看到的任何中国的时期都要好。 所以在这个未来的这个方面呢，那么我也希望中德这两国的企业，因为大家地处于欧洲跟亚洲，互相之间的文化上面存在差异。那这样的差异呢，我想可能通过类似像今天我们这种论坛的这种方式，加强各自的了解和理解。我想未来的合作一定是一个非常好的一个结果。
Okay, very good. What about IT security? What importance will IT security have on the future development of the global digital economy? That is something that we've heard about all day today. We're going to hear about it tomorrow. We're going to hear about it Wednesday with Edward Snowden and Glenn Greenwald. I mean, it is something we cannot get away from anymore. So what do Germany and China, how do they impact this topic?
I mean, first of all, security is indeed maybe the make or break of this whole digital economy.
Yeah.
The issue is, of course, that machines do not type in passwords and have no face recognition. So we have to work with embedded security, and that, of course, has to be safe for many, many, many years, right? If you think about a smart meter, it should be safe for 10, 20 years. These products often have a very long lifespan, right? So there are many new challenges we have not yet been solved completely, I would say, because most of IT products you throw away after 2-3 years. So that's one part. And on the Germany-China side, of course, discussions are ongoing on different political level, right? We have the DCBWA, the Chinese-German Innovation Forum, so to say, that advises the two governments. And here as well, as part of that innovation, meanwhile, Industry 4.0 is the key topic. And then security is really one of the key topics which is being discussed there. And of course, with different point of view, right? Because what really secure means may be certainly defined differently in different countries, right? There's a different perception about what is security of data in the United States, in Germany, and in China. And so we have as well to get to some kind of standards where we would all be able to agree that this is what we want and need to protect. And we are really not there yet. Yeah? So that has still some room for negotiations, for mutual understanding, and then finally for some agreement.
But that's the real threat, though, isn't it? It's that if you can't agree on standards with IT security, then you could torpedo any type of future growth in business deals, right?
Of course. I mean, if you would say the maximum standard is always you share nothing, right?
Right.
That is clear. So there's nothing being transported, very low data print.
Yeah.
And the other end is, of course, you share everything, right? And indeed, that is something that has to be not only discussed, but as well to be solved.
You know, I know that in the news reporting that we get here in Germany, we still hear this, that most hackers, for example, if you are asked where are they geographically in the world, there are two countries, Russia and China. How does that impact the future of doing any type of business between Germany and China? Don't all rush to answer at the same time. Yeah, Mr. Lee, please.
I wouldn't put any country in a corner or on a spot.
Okay, go ahead.
I think Klaas put it quite nicely. This is a very fragile thing.
Yes.
And of course, one can mess it up. And if we then talk about partnerships being here in the room, everybody must be aware that if there comes the next big scandal along the road, he kills that fragile plant for a long time. I personally would not agree with the two countries that you just mentioned. So our experience, and we know that from Deutsche Telekom, we have the honeypots and everything that track daily. I don't want to disclose now who is now the hit list and who is leading it. But we are in a very prominent company and society, I would say. So I can just underline what Lars said. We all in the interest of protecting the good business we do for all of us individually, to make all of us aware that if we don't join these standards and these initiatives, it's a very fragile thing, and revenue can go easily. And there are 3 big markets. It's certainly Americas, it's certainly Asia, but you can't work around Europe either, and neither.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you want to add?
Yeah, I don't know whether it really helps to assign numbers of hackers to certain countries. I think we all are targets of the same threats,
yes,
whether they come from any of the countries in the world. And we all have to make sure that we protect ourselves and that we protect our partners. And of course, every company has to make sure that it protects the own know-how and the crown jewels. And if you are in a cooperation like we have with Chinese companies, I'm sure we will make sure that we can protect our joint business activities. And what can we do together else is that we define standards, as it already has been mentioned, and come to a common understanding that's in the interest of everybody, that we do something and we strengthen IT security. And by the way, IT security, you would say it like this, simply IT security, what does it mean? I think it's one of the biggest challenges we have in the connected world. Experts, and we have some real experts around here at the table and the panel, say that within the next 10 years, the capacity and performance of systems will grow 100-fold. Mm-hmm. So the threats to IT security also grow. So we have to do standards. We have to realize that this should be common standards, if possible, and we have to realize that we probably also support each other in bringing out solutions for the IT security.
Okay. Gentlemen, I've been told that we have to wrap things up. We're supposed to be actually off the stage in 5 minutes. So thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause for sharing their thoughts with us today. Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And that's going to wrap up the first day for the CeBIT Global Conferences. Stop by tomorrow. We are going to have another action-packed day, especially tomorrow afternoon, when we're going to hear about the future of the world as we know it changing. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.